Hello once again, people, and welcome to yet another Quake level. If you happen to be one of the main regulars or whatnot, aka the people from like Quake Wikia, but basically those are ones that I know really watch these or whatnot. I know like Vorknitz watches them. I'm not even sure if anyone else watches them, but hi Vorknitz! Yeah, but in any event, what we're talking about today is a new level, aka a level that I haven't covered on Quake Wikia, which is kind of different because most of these levels are pretty much levels we've already seen to death, on the Quake Wikia, like back in 2015 or earlier. So yeah, basically, this is one of the first levels we played in a little bit of time. I mean, we did play 2 levels last year. We played the sink, and then we played, whatchamacallit? It was that, I forget the name of the level, but it was basically, a small level that was pretty much just a basic multiplayer level. There wasn't much to it. And the sink was really just a basic test level that really didn't have anything to it either. I think this is the end or something like that. I forget. I forget what it is. But like I said, it was something like that too. It was some weird name that if I saw it again, I'd be able to tell you, but off the top of my head, I cannot remember it. So anyway, this time around we're playing a new level. Curiosity is going to make it so we can check it out. And plus the fact that we're continuing our way through the Aftershock in a bit of a different order than I did before. I kind of like shuffled everything up and whatnot, but I'm doing things by like the chronological order, even though they're basically all been released on the same day. Which kind of just suggests they all lumped them together, called it quits, and threw it up there. Yeah, people, basically the dates of all these are like right next to each other, so not much of a chronological order thing, but that's kind of the order way I've been doing it, and it kind of works. So, therefore, it keeps it interesting. It's a different way to do it instead of just via the, the actual level name order. So yeah, we do it that way. Anyway, this level's called the Water Pit, and that's basically all I know, though there is a README file, so let's check that out. Besides being called the Water Pit, we'll also get Water Pit. The big difference between them being pit is not capitalized. It's basically treated as one word. It's basically Water Pit or the Water Pit. I know that probably doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but that's basically the mindset here, people. But yeah. This level is inspired by another level called Lava Pit, who basically was made by a guy named as Dalius, who, guess what, made the last Quake level, specifically, the level, whatchamacallit, the last previous level we actually did, Tell That to Be. That was the first Dalius level I think we've seen. And he also made Lava Pit, which I believe is another one of these levels in the sequence. I think I know which one it is off the top of my head. But we have yet to check it out. For some reason, it's been added later. But just know for the time being, it's a base. And if you're on Quake Wikia, of course, you can easily look it up and see the level whatnot. And we'll cover it here eventually. So yeah. Dalius also made this editor, apparently, known as Quake Studio. Interesting. Basically, he used version 0.2 to 0.8. That's about all we really get on the program. I'll have to like look more into that and find out like if there's anything more. Of course, I'll add anything to the Wikia as we find it. Anyway, this was made by Matt Bollier. So let's see here. This is a cool deathmatch arena. As it seems there are a lot of these. For some reason, I don't know why. Why they insist upon this. This is getting really, really annoying. But it seems like they love to basically add, in the README files, that single player can be played. Which is really, really terrible because it's not really single player based. It's multiplayer. It's a deathmatch level. And yet they keep insisting on single player. It's really, really weird. How that, like, it's like, it keeps saying yes. And I believe a lot of these have lately. Like, you go to, like, Telets B, and you go there, and it's like, yeah, if you want to check it out. And it's like, yeah, Telet, it does kind of technically exist. It's just, yeah. For some reason, I don't know why, but they every single level seems to insist upon saying, oh yeah, we have single player! And in truth, they don't. Like, if you're going to do that, when we're talking single player, I'm not talking about the ability to play in single player. I'm talking actually, having something to do. Actually an enemy to shoot, or an exit, or something. It's fully made for deathmatch. That's literally the point of this, is just a deathmatch level. So why in God's name even say that supports single player? Anyway, random rant. Let's get back to the story here. Well, not story, a description, but same thing. Lots of floating platforms. Some are moving, and bridges spanning between them. Also an underwater area. Nice lighting effects combined with the unusual architecture makes for a really cool deathmatch experience. Because the most important thing to a deathmatch experience is appreciating the architecture. Well, that's pretty much actually what we do, but that's beside the point. We're not the normal sane deathmatch player. Especially since we're not really playing actual deathmatch, we're kind of playing deathmatch maps and just wander around them because we're insane. But, yeah, this map was made specifically for us, to look at the pretty architecture. So, yeah. But that's beside the point. Like I said, it's very, very confusing, this thing. Like, every level they love to say is a single-player level, but it isn't. And I guess the rule of thumb, if I'm trying to remember how I kind of did it, because it was rather weird and inconsistent. Like, some say more, some say less. I think the way I kind of did it is, if you say, like, if you go into it and say a bit more, then I say yes, but otherwise no. Like, I'm trying to see here, like, what levels I did. Trying to see, like, if there's any, like, levels or so we've covered in, like, Aftershock or something that have been multiplayer-based levels that I can use as an example for myself to understand exactly my rule. Because it's been a bit of time, people, and even myself, I kind of forget. So, like, fun fragging I did as a single-player multiplayer level. And that's when we said, yes, no monsters, though. So that was the big difference. That one was like, yes, but there's no monsters on it. And then we have, like, everything else seems to be, actually something that would have enemies in it. So if I really want to switch that over, because, I don't know, maybe I want to switch it over, it wouldn't be too bad. But yeah, basically, like I said, all I did was treat it like a single-player level when it basically did that. If it said, like, yes, no enemies, though, or something like that, I think that was actually the key thing, is if it said something like that, that usually gave me the right to do it as such. I also did Quake 102 as that. Why? Yes, no monsters, though. Exactly the same thing. So yeah, that seems to be the big difference, people. Basically, if it says... I know it's probably very, very confusing. I'm trying to actually think, like... I'm trying to think if there's like a consistent rule set here, because it's very confusing. Because, like I said, if you look at like Tele-Atsby, and it says, yeah, if you want to check it out. It's kind of like implied, well, you could, but it's not really a thing. This is the end says no, and that ironically has a Rottweiler. That's the interesting thing. Some things are like, yes, but other ones are like no, and okay, so I think this one I'm going to go with yes. I mean, unlike the other ones, it says specifically yes. And that's kind of where you really have to, like, interpret the meaning of the README file. I know how crazy this all sounds, but this is how it kind of works. First of all, you have to look at the README file and try and figure out what the heck they're trying to say when it becomes a multiplayer level, because there's so many bloody shades of gray with this. And even though this is supposed to be a deathmatch level, it specifically says single player yes with nothing else. So with that in mind, that has to be treated as a single player level as well, just because he specifically says such. That kind of changes the rule there, people. And see, this is kind of where that whole technicality thing and that whole confusing thing kind of comes into play. Because if he said, yeah, you could, versus yes, that changes everything entirely. It's that whole specifically stating it flat out versus saying it's possible but not really meant for it. Even though it says it's a cool deathmatch arena, he specifically says play information single player yes. So therefore, it's also a single player level. Not that really matters here because I play everything in single player anyway, but that's beside the point. Okay, so now that I've rambled about all that, I should talk about Lava Pit and say that it's based upon it, but lots have been added since then. You'll notice you can jump off the side of the map. Do it and you'll fall into a pit of slime. Not good. I suppose I should have made it so you couldn't jump at all, but then the sky wouldn't look so cool. So yeah, he also used MS Edit, as a lot of these seem to have been doing. Like I said, in Quake Studio, which I don't know what that's about. He also tells you a lot about, like, what exactly his build times were on a Pentium 60 with 16 megabytes of RAM. Took about, like, 315 seconds for a Viz, and, like, the other ones were done in less than a minute. So it's been made for Quake 1.01 registered, so the first version of Quake released, and I guess it's therefore not guaranteed to work with later versions, so Quake has so little change that unlike like Doom, nothing really breaks between versions. I've never seen like an issue in like GL Quake, the most recent version, versus say the earliest version of Quake. There might be between like other modern source ports, I believe there actually are, but between the official id Software stuff, there's no big differences, and that's kind of key or whatnot, a big difference from like the Doom era. So anyway, this took about 30 hours to make, and we've been playing for 13 minutes without actually doing anything. Maybe we should actually go to check out the level, now that we've kind of gotten past all that wordy stuff. Yeah, it takes a while to read the README, especially when I'm trying to figure out what in God's name I'm doing with the README. So let's see here. We have to go down, and it's called water this time. No, wait, that's actually, whatchamacallit. That's another level. That's... Wait, no. What? Huh? I thought it was, like, called water bots, or something like that. But, yeah, it's basically a matter of trying to plan everything out because I haven't seen this level before. So this is new to me as well, and you guys get to see my experience, even though it's probably just a random single-player level. But the interesting thing here is, I don't think it's actually part of the loader. Like, Water Pit, that's the name of it. That's interesting. Is it not part of the level selection? Like everything else has been. Like, you start sliding down, lava pit's there, but you continue down, and there's no water pit. Oh my god, wow. Wow, people, look at this. This is wild. There is no water pit. If you try and change it to like any of the others, these are like all the official Aftershock levels. Of course, everything's there. Here, you can look, and you're not going to see anything at all. There's no water pit. There's no bloody water pit, people. I mean, I guess you could try and like dig through all these things or whatnot. I mean, I'm curious, like, if some of these, like, are different names than, like, what they're actually supposed to be. Like, I don't know if I recognize every single level. Then again, it might be because I have a bad memory, and so I'm kind of, like, scared to just start looting up random levels. But if we ever finish this up, that's something I'm definitely going to do, is, like, skim through all this stuff, figure out, like, if there is actually, like, something I missed here. But as far as I'm seeing, I'm not seeing anything that looks like a water or watery or anything that would say water pit. No, everything else is basically another level. So that's interesting, people. We just got a level, and it turns out, well, that level's not actually part of the level selection. That's really interesting. We have a level that's not part of Aftershock's own level selection. That really stinks. But guess what? We can work around it. Because I can just take the file, and I can put it in my maps folder of Aftershock. And now when I load Aftershock specifically, it'll work fine. If I load up Quake itself, it's not going to work. But I need to load up Aftershock for Quake, so I'll like load up Aftershock the game. Oh, good. Back here. And wait. Where's my sound? Oh, wait, I don't think I have my headphones on. Never mind. There we are. Been a little bit since we've seen this demo. But yeah, this is the demo. And now if we do water pit. Really? What's your problem now? What's your problem now? I put you in the folder. I did what I was supposed to do. I put you in the folder. Why aren't you recognizing yourself? Okay, it seems like we have a level that doesn't want to work. That's not promising at all. Unless this is not the area it loads. Is AS maps? AS is, I thought, where it loads. So that's the thing. Aftershock has like a confusing like loading area. It could be like AS-DOS. I'm not really sure. So I'm going to try and load up AS-DOS because I don't really know where I'm going here. So yeah, I'm not really sure which directory it's supposed to be loading up to load up Aftershock. I mean, I think it'd load up like... No, that didn't work. Okay, actually, let's think for a second here. Because if I look at my like DOSBots config... It would only recognize the areas I'm mounted, right? Oh, great. Now I'm essentially loading up Adobe Premiere Pro. That's not good. That won't help my situation at all. I mean, it looks fancy, but that's not going to help my situation. Let's see here. I know this is slowly turning into something completely different than what I was trying to do. But this is what happens. I'm trying to figure out God's name. Okay... If I go to Aftershock, the actual folder Aftershock, is there something in there? Yeah, there's all this. There's literally all these different folders. And then there's the AS folder in Aftershock. I think that's where you actually want to go, if I'm correct. So that's the thing, it's so bloody confusing. There's all these folders that mean the same freaking thing, but they don't. Okay, so I think this is the folder that we want, people. Okay, third attempt. Third folder. I think this is it, because this is the actual Aftershock folder that I use with loading up the game. Weird that's coming from here, but sure. And there we are. About freaking time. So yeah, this is water pit, and it looks a lot like lava pit will. I definitely recognize this, though it also looks different. So let's see, first thing first, let's see here. We have no real errors or anything coming up, which is promising. As that suggests nothing's like fallen to the world. Though we did pick up a rocket launcher when we spawned into the area. So the central pit seems to have a rocket launcher. And 2 packs of rockets. So let's see here. We can go to like the various corners. You can get some nails from here. And yeah, basically you have these 4 little side platforms that basically overlook the map. And you can get nail guns from this one, double-barreled shotgun. And it looks like it's going to be symmetrical on both sides. So yeah. It's rather tedious waiting for this. But if I fall down there, I have to like wait for it to get back up. And I kind of want to like explore this thing instead of like falling down constantly. So yeah, we have to kind of wait for these things. Okay, step 1 complete. Now, interestingly enough, we have these structures out here. And we have super nail guns below it. Can we like get down there to super nail gun areas? Or like expect to get back up? Well, first of all, the super nail guns on this side. And the exact opposite sides. There's only 2 super nail guns instead of 4. And I think... Oh god, it pushed me into the water. But now we can get down here. And here's some odd armor. What type of armor is that? Green armor. Well, that's... Thanks. But at least it's some armor. Now, if you see, it's a very symmetrical level with symmetrical design. So if you see, both sides have double-barreled shotguns. Very not surprising at all. I'm not exactly sure how to get back up. Like, that seems to be a problem. I am not sure how one gets back up. But here's these 2 little health packs. And here's a teleporter, which leads right to the rocket platform. So you drop in here, you teleport, you appear back on the central platform of the rocket launcher. So that's basically how this works. You fight around in a water arena, and you kill everyone. Die! 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 And then you go to that central platform, you appear, and that's how you get out. And so yeah, you can see the sky up there. He says there's slime behind this. But as you see, normally you can't really get over it. Like, you'd have to, like, try and rocket jump it. Which you totally could. Actually, you could from up there. So when we get up there, we'll actually try and jump off and see if we can get into the slime. Since we don't have much more to do at that point. So anyway, 2 health packs. Nothing really more up here. And on the different sides, we also have what looks like a grenade launcher. So you wait for it to kind of move, then you get over here. And you can see the slime. We'll worry about that in a second. And there we are. Some good mobility, and we were able to cross without falling into the water. Huzzah! Oh god! It's gonna kill us! Ow! Well, that was stupid on my part, but that's beside the point. Had to have some fun. In the water pit. Okay, let's jump over here and see what happens. On the various sides, you can see there are some fires. Nothing spectacular. It seems to use a couple different textures. It's luckily not just one. It seems like there's some wood on the side. There's this wall here. There's a couple different textures in use, so it has enough variety. But at the end of the day, it's yet another one-room map. It's a lot like Dalius's tourney map, except with water. It's made to be a lot like Lava Pit, but be with water. That's pretty much the point of it. And when you see Lava Pit, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's very, very similar to this, except with lava. So, there's really nothing here. There's really no point. I might as well just jump into the slime and see exactly what's out there. Actually, interesting thing. Can I, like, rocket jump all the way out there? Like, bullseye! That didn't really work out for me. As you can see, you can die in the slime. I think you can actually, like, get fully under there. Like, if you... Now my curiosity is getting the best of me. I need to see what's underneath. I think you can get underneath the whole area. Wait, no, this is the wrong side. You can just jump from over here and it works fine. Okay, so if you, like, drop here and move this way, you can swim underneath the whole place. But of course, there's nothing under here. It's all just slime. And your rockets can go for ages. Eventually, you die. Life stinks. And it's painful. Yeah, so that's the level. Not really much to it, people. Once again, this is pretty much just like, Tillets or Lava Pit or any other, like, tourney-based levels. You have a very symmetrical design with things that are basically expected for, like, one player on each side to be like a tourney or something like that. And it has no real explorability. It's made for really quick fights, just like two players fighting over and over. And it almost feels like you just get spawn killed a bunch at the end of the day. You know, these type of maps never really got much popularity in the long run. And yeah, they kind of really bore me. There's really like not much to this. But as I said, it's a single player map, so I have to like write a single player-esque walkthrough for this. So yeah, I look forward to seeing that. Whee! Ah, God, it burns! Kill me faster! Kill me faster! No, faster! Faster! You can do it! There we are. And look as my air bubbles fly to the surface. Okay, that's that. So yeah, a water pit is level. And like I said, the interesting thing, probably the most interesting thing about it is the fact that it's not even in the level select screen. Like, every other level, we've been able to naturally just go to the level select screen. And that's kind of one of the nice things about doing it this way, through DOS and all that. Because I used to just do everything through GLQuake. And GLQuake, you can't use these DOS level level loaders. And so therefore, you didn't get to see oddities like this, that, like, Water Pit doesn't actually exist in, you know, the level select thing. You could play that level select thing, and you would never even know this level is there. That's actually rather wild and whatnot, because it brings back a lot of memories of, like, Q2. Because I think Q2 did something similar with one of its levels. Evil Palace. Evil Palace wasn't in the level loader, and you basically had to use it as like a secret level. And this is kind of the exact same thing now in Aftershock. Which is really curious indeed, because you would think like Aftershock is supposed to be better and more consistent. It was for its own campaign, but actually, no, Evil Palace was, like, there, but it just didn't have a file extension, and so it couldn't load up. Every level was in the level select screen from what I remember, because we didn't have any issues that way. But this one's not even in the level selection screen, and so it's like a totally secret level. And it just goes to show further, between that and the fact that the levels, like, are totally, like, done on the same day, this is pretty much just a bonus feature for Aftershock. Really, the main thing was the campaign. These are just a bunch of lumped files they found on the internet. And then they converted all, like, the textures over to Aftershock textures. Which really messes up things, because that means now you have, like, Aftershock variants. So, like, eventually, like, when I'm looking on the internet, I'm going to find, like, these levels again. And they're going to be, like, copy-paste walkthroughs, except for the fact that they have Aftershock versus regular. I wish there was some way to, like, link this stuff together while at the same time, like, not. You know, because it's like, it's a variant on the same level, but really at the end of the day, it is the same level. The whole reason it's changed is just because it's using Aftershock instead of the original one. And no, it's not just because the textures are like different. It doesn't actually use textures. The levels themselves load the textures. So they had to go in manually, edit every single texture in the level, and then save it again. Or basically just go in, change the textures that were being loaded and like replace them with another one. So like, you like go in there, you see the Sky 2 texture, and you replace it with your own, and that's basically now Sky 2 or something like that. And that's probably how they did it. And so they basically just did these quick rush job conversions that worked because all it was really doing was just changing textures. But yeah, really, like I said, it's not really the biggest of deals, but at the same time it totally is, because that means it's a totally different variant, even though it's not. Like, I can imagine we could find these exact same single-player levels, and they'll look exactly the same, except for, you know, being textured differently. But, you know, like I said, Aftershock, have to do it Aftershock style. And that's kind of one of the biggest things that thinks about, like, Quake in comparison to, like, Doom. See, Doom, everything was loaded from the P-Wad itself. Like, the actual main wad. And so because of that, all the textures came from a central area. And so therefore, when you loaded up, like, a Doom P-Wad, you're basically getting the exact same experience you get from getting it online versus getting it in some shovelware pack. Here, you're getting two different things because it has a different texture set. And so that's just one of the weird little intricacies about Quake that makes it very different from Doom. You end up with more levels in Quake just because there are variants in the shovelware packs that you couldn't get elsewhere. Just because the textures are freaking different. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I know it's been rather pointless. 30 minutes playing very little, but at the same time, it is a grandiose thing because this is the first new level of 2018, which is kind of big in itself. And yeah, it's basically something to check out and see, and you get to see my fresh experience of a multiplayer level. Yeah, it really kind of kills the blind experience for its multiplayer. Like, how exactly do you blind play through a multiplayer level? Wow, this was my first experience of checking out nothing. But that's aside the point. Anyway, thank you all for watching, people. It's been an adventure, and I shall see you all next time.